Hello? Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with the fourth and by far the largest LEGO Mega haul I have ever done. This one comes out at £1,600, which is nearly double my last previous biggest LEGO haul at £825. So I'm sure you agree this one is utterly ridiculous. So this LEGO haul is of course the biggest I've ever done, mainly because it's made up of mostly really big, really expensive sets. The cheapest set on this entire haul is £75. And a lot of them are totaling well into the hundreds of pounds, so I'm sure you'd agree this is just utterly incredible and I cannot wait to show you guys. This has been a collection of several months worth of collecting. This is not all just one purchase. I mean, that's a little insane even by my standards, even though I don't have that much money. This of course was really a collection of various different purchases mainly from Toys R Us, because I work there and thus I get a discount there, which is what helped me to buy this much stuff. But of course this is what you would pay retail price for all these sets, but fortunately I was able to get a bit cheaper. And hey, if you come to my Toys R Us where I work, I will gladly give you a discount if you so desire. But I'm not going to tell you where I work because I'd rather not reveal everything online. I mean, my address is already online. I'm not going to tell you which video it is, but you've probably seen it anyway. Anywho, with that being said, I know it's been a little while since I made a facecam video, even though this isn't really a facecam video, but hopefully in the next couple weeks that should change because I do have a month off holiday, so hopefully videos will be on the way. Who knows? Don't quote me on that. I cannot promise anything because I promised things before and they don't turn out. With that being said, let's go now and look at this ridiculous, insane, mad, just utterly mad £1,600 LEGO haul. I'm going to do things a little differently in this haul video. I'm going to go from the biggest to the smallest purely because it'll be easier for me to put the biggest sets at the back and then move my way slowly to the front with the smaller sets. I will also be doing the Last Jedi sets at the end just because of course they are the newest ones, so I thought, you know, there you go. Our first item here, as you can see, is the Assault on Hoth. This is, of course, a very controversial, if not the most controversial UCS set ever released, possibly only second to the Death Star, which came out last year as well. This, of course, there's two main reasons it's controversial. Number one, it's officially classified as a UCS set. Now, I would agree, this is not a UCS set. This is similar to the Ewok Village or other sets where it is a playable set. This is definitely not something you keep on display. I mean, you may want to display it, but it's not the same sort of display thing as, say, like the Super Star Destroyer or like the really old Death Star, you know, the Death Star 2. It's not on that same level whatsoever, so no, I completely agree, it is not a UCS set. The other main reason people don't like it is partially because the piece count and the price isn't really there, but not just that, but because if you have previous Hoth sets, which probably you do because Hoth sets have been quite common over the years, you probably have the majority of this. I mean, we've got the cannon, we've got the shield generators, they're the really only two main exclusive things. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, I can't quite remember when this first came out, but there may be some minifigures, maybe the Arch unit, which is exclusive, but really in terms of minifigures, there's not a whole lot here on, you know, they've got snow speed and that kind of stuff. A lot of it, if it is new, it is very slightly new and really is not worth that price tag whatsoever. The reason I bought this, partially again as I said at the beginning, is because I do get a bit of a discount, so that piece of price ratio was better for me. I managed to get this for I think 180 or something, something like that. Also, the reason I got this was because I actually don't have, well, I mean, I have the, I believe it was 2016 Battle on Hoth set, like the really small £20 one, but that is literally, I have no other Hoth sets, I mean, maybe apart from the, like, the 8080s, and I think I got one of the battle packs, but in terms of large-scale Echo bases, I don't even have a snow speeder, I have literally nothing else, so for me, and considering I can get it a bit cheaper than what it actually is, I think it is kind of worth it for me because, as I said, I don't have any others. That's the main reason I bought it, but I do fully understand those people who say, you know, it's not worth it, don't buy it. And I'm going to say that if you do have quite a lot of Hoth sets, which you may very well do because Hoth sets are fairly popular, then it is not worth it. I'm just going to say it right now, and it's kind of a waste of a UCS set, and I'm a bit annoyed really, but I picked it up anyway because I think it really is meant for those who don't have any Hoth sets. I think it's meant to be the ultimate Hoth set really, so yeah, with that being said, let's now move on to the next set. As you can see, the next set we have here is actually not a Star Wars set whatsoever. It is in fact the Simpsons house. Now, I've wanted this ever since it first was released in 2014. The only reason I haven't got it until now, mainly because I haven't had the money, and because it has been a massive priority on my list of sets that I really want to get, especially including the fact that new Star Wars sets come out literally every 6 months. But fortunately, because I work at Toys R Us, I feel like I've mentioned Toys R Us quite a bit. Because of work that I now have the money to buy some of the sets which I wouldn't be able to do normally. Now, we do actually sell this at Toys R Us. Man, I'm really mentioning the word Toys R Us quite a bit. But we do sell it there. I didn't get it from there, however. I'm not sure you can tell it in the camera because the lighting is a bit bad. But this does have some wear on it, sort of the box is not major new stuff, and everything, of course, is there. but it's sort of just some box damage, you know, a bit of wear and tear here thing, because I actually bought this off eBay because I don't entirely know how, but I actually managed to find this cheaper than even if I bought it at Toys R Us, even including my discount, I still managed to find it cheaper than that on eBay, which I'm very happy about. So, you know, there you go. This is a really cool set. I cannot wait to open it. To be honest with you, it probably won't be for some time, unless you really want it. You know, if you leave down in the comments, if you really want to see me review this set, I might prioritize it. But in all honesty, considering the other Star Wars sets I've got, considering a lot of the other things I haven't even reviewed that, I feel this may be some time before I build it, which is unfortunate. But there you go. I think it's still a really cool set. And personally, while I'm a big fan of The Simpsons, I'm unlikely to get any of the other Simpsons stuff, the Quickie Mart or any of the minifigure series. Not because I dislike them, but just because they're expensive and they're just not high enough on my list of things that I'd really like to get, especially considering a lot of the other Star Wars sets I really love to get before them. So I'm afraid this may very well be the only Simpsons set I will ever get. So, but still, it is really, really cool, and I'm glad I picked it up. With that being said, let's now move on to the next set. Next up, we have a set which I'm very excited for. It is, of course, the UCS Slave one, and unlike the Assault on Hoth, this one deserves the UCS mark. You know, this is a great example of what a UCS set should and could be. It is definitely one of the best UCS sets ever, in my opinion, even though I haven't even opened yet, and even though I don't really have that many UCS sets in the grand scheme of things, I certainly have to say, and many people would agree, it is an amazing set. Definitely worth the price. I would highly recommend picking it up if you can. Now, fortunately, again for me, I managed to get this actually a bit cheaper off eBay. That being said, though, it is still mint condition in the box, completely new. Now, again, just like the other two sets here, this probably won't be built for some time, which really does get me because I really want to build it. But at least until I've done the last Jedi sets and then finished the summer sets and other things, then we'll see about coming back to this because I really want to build this and I just cannot wait to open it. It's such an amazing set and it just, oh God, it looks awesome, you know? But yeah, actually, believe it or not, for those who are curious, this is actually my only Slave one in my entire collection. I actually have no other Slave ones, believe it or not. But yeah, so there you go, an amazing set, and I honestly cannot wait to open it. Oh God, I really want to... Calm down, Josh. Calm down. With that being said, let's now move on to the next set. Next up is the only other non-Star Wars set. It is, of course, as you can see, the NASA Apollo Saturn V rocket. This thing is incredible. I actually saw this when I picked it up in a Lego store. I think it was a few months ago now. When I picked it up, I actually saw a built one on display there, and it looked incredible. I loved it. It's like 3 feet long or 3 feet tall, however you want to display it. Personally, the way I display things, I probably have to put it long ways just because I literally don't have any space which would allow me to put it up long ways, so I'd have to put it long ways along a shelf. But still, I think it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to open this. just like the Slave 1, I really want to open this right now. It's so cool. You have no idea how much, because I got this right when it was released, you know, so you have no idea how hard it's been for me to keep this in the box while it's just, oh guys, it's so amazing. And this is one of the reasons I love LEGO Ideas so much. I would say next to Star Wars, LEGO Ideas and LEGO Superheroes are like my two other favourite themes. I love them so much. Pretty much every single LEGO Ideas set I love to bits, and I've got the majority of them now. So yeah, just an incredible set. And now with that being said, let's now move on to the, well, I say smaller sets, but in terms of, you know, in the grand scheme of things, for some of you guys, these may still class as large sets, but of course compared to this stuff, you know, they're smaller. That being said, let's move on to them. Next up, we have the Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive. Now, I actually do have the previous version of this, but unfortunately it is broken up and I've lost quite a few of the major pieces, so I'm not entirely sure when that review will be coming. But this one hopefully will be coming fairly soon. I mean, you know, relatively speaking, after the last Jedi sets, this hopefully will be coming maybe October kind of time, along with the other summer sets, which unfortunately I have not done yet. But I can't wait to open this. I really loved the first one. This one is significantly more expensive, although it does have significantly more pieces, but we'll talk about that more in the review. Moving quickly on to the next set. This is another summer set, which unfortunately I was not able to pick up at the time, mainly because, well, I didn't want to. The Arrowhead, I'm sure many people will agree, is a pretty controversial set in its own right. Not controversial in the same way the Assault on Hoth is, but controversial, at least in my eyes, because why was it the biggest set of the summer? As I've said many times before, I always look forward to the big sets in the summer. Now, yes, I know the Last Jedi sets obviously were going to come out, and they have some really big sets in there, and they do kind of make up for it. Some of the sets are really, really cool. I cannot wait to open that Star Destroyer. But, for me at least, when it comes to summer, I've always looked forward to what are going to be the big sets. What's the sets going to want for Christmas kind of thing. Now bear in mind, this was back in the day before I could buy my own sets, before I had to rely on my parents to buy it for me at Christmas. I mean, 2014, we got the Star Destroyer as the biggest set. You know, in 2013, we got like the ATTE and the gunship. You know, I've always looked forward to the summer sets being like the big, really cool things you can ask for Christmas. But this, it was just such a disappointment. And yes, again, I know the Last Jedi sets were going to come out, and those are really, really cool, and those are worth it. But something about it, it was a disappointment. Now, the set itself is kind of cool. That's really the main reason I got it. The design of it, I do enjoy. But everything else about it just does not appeal. I mean, the minifigures, personally, I've not... I mean, I watched, I think, one episode or one season of the show. It was alright. Obviously, it was not made for my demographic in terms of my age group, but still, I can understand why kids may like it. But the minifigures, I don't really care for. I guess, you know, Stormtrooper is kind of cool to add to your collection kind of thing. But really, the pure and only reason I got this was because I managed to get it cheaper, as I've said before, and because I like the design of it. That is literally it. There is no other reason. Just, yeah. And I suppose maybe because, you know, it's helpful to review things, you know, more videos kind of thing. But still, it's cool. The design's cool, but really that is purely it. If you don't like the design of it, there is, in my opinion, no reason to get it. There is no appeal. It's a disappointment. I feel like Lego could have done so much more. But with that being said, let's now move on to the final set before we go on to, of course, the last Jedi sets. Here we have the Rebel U-Wing Fighter, which, as I've said a couple times before, I'm a bit hesitant on the name Fighter. When I think of fighters, I think of small, nimble aircraft, like, you know, X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings. And understand, of course, this has the U-Wing kind of thing, which, I mean... Okay, it's debatable whether it's even a U at all. To be honest with you, there's a lot of debatable things about this set, about whether it's even a U, whether it should be called a fighter, or rather just like a gunship or something. But, you know, either way, I think it's still a pretty cool set. Now, of course, I didn't pick this up last year, partially because I didn't have the money, partially because I just wasn't unsure about it. I saw it when it first came out, obviously this is before Rogue One came out, and I saw it and I thought, I don't know the design of that. I think the underneath is just kind of, almost like it sticks out, like it's too bulky. It doesn't look like a gunship to me, it just looks kind of, it doesn't look sleek, really. Like the Republic gunship and even some of the other gunships, I think they look kind of sleek and kind of cool. This, however, just, it doesn't look like it. Now, I'm still a bit hesitant because, I mean, thinking of gunships, to me at least, you know, kind of in the name, they're meant to have a lot of guns, as well as they're meant to be troop transports. This one, I would not really say is either. This one doesn't really have a lot of guns, as well as the fact it's not really, I mean, yeah, it carries troops, but not that many. I mean, so really, a lot about this is kind of debatable. And the thing is, I'm not even putting that down to Lego, but more just down to the actual vehicle install. Is a bit, is a gunship, you know, is a fighter really the right term for this? To be honest, it looks more like a bit of a small frigate kind of thing, but still, that being said, it's still kind of cool. I saw in Rogue One, and while I do wish they made the frigate, you know that frigate they use, I think, they stole from the Empire, they used that in Rogue One quite a bit. I'd rather they made that into Lego than this. I understand why they didn't, and it's still pretty cool, and I, you know, at the end of the day, I did pick it up, so it's not as if I hate it, you know, I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. Nonetheless, that is then to the, I suppose, main bit, or not main bit, whatever, the other bit, the first bit to my haul. Now we move on to, of course, the bits we're all looking forward to, The Last Jedi. One last thing I forgot to mention, just before going to The Last Jedi sets, I forgot to mention I did get a few freebies, which is always nice. Of course, a lot of this I did get with The Last Jedi sets as well. But I got this, what is it, First Order Heavy Assault Walker, of course it's the polybag version of it, which is quite nice. I may review this eventually, who knows, I mean of course a lot of reviews have already gone up online, but we'll see what happens. Leave down in the comments if you want to review this, I may do it eventually. As well as, I also got this Scarif Trooper right here, which is pretty cool. It comes with the waist cape, which is quite nice, and of course the background there. I'm a little disappointed in the fact that that is meant to be a sticker, I believe, like the engraving. I kind of wish it was printed, but whatever. And finally, we've got the R2-D2. Now, I know this was released in America quite some time ago, but for some unknown reason, they kind of released the other R3 kind of droid thing. The other thing that came with sort of this stand, if you know what I'm talking about. They released that back then, and now they're releasing this now in the UK. Why? I don't know. But there you go. So I got these 3 free things, which is really, really cool. I also did sort of get a bit of a competition sort of thing, which I'll just say right now, I did lose it. But I'll just show that to you at the end as well. With that being said, let's now move on to the Last Jedi sets. Just like before, I'm going to go from the biggest Last Jedi sets to the smallest. Starting off, of course, the biggest set is the First Order Star Destroyer. This thing, in my opinion, looks amazing. There are a few flaws we're going to go over in the review. The review of this will be down in the description. One of which I'll just say right now is these shooters right here. I really am not happy about them. I get they can be kind of used as like a play function kind of thing, but the fact that the main weapons of this thing are these random little things which can't even like swivel or anything, it's very disappointing, I'm just going to say it right now. That being said, though, the set as a whole looks really, really cool. I think it's about the same sort of size of the 2014 one. In fact, a little spoiler, this will be in a comparison between this and the 2014 one. That'll be coming hopefully fairly soon, but we'll see what happens. The minifigures are really, really cool, and just, yeah, I cannot wait to open this. This is going to be freaking dope. Moving on now swiftly. Next up, we have the First Order Heavy Assault Walker, or the ATM-6, as many people are calling it, because of course that is the in-universe name. Now, there are a few little things about this which some people are still complaining about. Overall, it seems like a really, really cool set, but one of the major things I think people are talking about is its size. This is meant to be significantly larger larger than the AT-ATs, which of course are classic vehicles, whereas the actual Lego set is pretty much the exact same size as it. In fact, in some ways, if you pose the legs in a certain way, it can actually be smaller than the AT-AT from like 2011. So a lot of people aren't happy about that. Personally, I really don't mind because I fully understand why it's the same sort of size. Now, you have to appreciate the AT-AT and the ATM6, of course, neither of which are size accurate to the minifigures. Let's just put that right out there right now. And yes, it would be nice if this was a little bigger compared to the AT-AT from 2011, but come on, this is already 1,300 pieces, already 130 pounds. Do you really want it to be bigger? Personally, it seems that like very few Lego sets are actually size accurate to minifigures. I really don't mind that much, and I do understand why Lego made it the way they did. Although that being said, there are a few things about this, like other things, which I'm going to talk about more in the review of it, about kind of, I'm not sure about it. But there's another set which I cannot wait to open, and I just want to see it, and I just want to play with it, man. I'm just a big kid, really. I just want to play with it. Next up, we have the Resistance Bomber. This one has to be definitely one of the best sets of the entire Last Jedi wave, even though it is really expensive. I mean, it's $110, £100 for 780 pieces. Now, of course, as you can see, there are a lot of quite large printed pieces in here, so I do understand why it'd be a bit more expensive, but £100? That's really pushing it, and I'm really glad that I could actually get that bit of a discount. I feel like I'm bringing up that discount quite a bit. I swear I'm not trying to rub it in or anything. If you come to my Toys R Us, I will be more than willing to give you my discount card, okay? I'm just saying that in all honesty, would I pay full retail price for this? Well, considering I'm a reviewer, then yeah, I probably still would. But if I wasn't a reviewer, if I'm just a regular guy, and I don't have a lot of money, and I can't afford every set, I really wouldn't recommend, even though it's really, really cool, and I would say it's one of the best sets in the line, I wouldn't recommend paying the full retail for this. It's just too much, guys. I mean, Lego sets, everyone's already complaining already about how Lego sets are getting too expensive, which again is another debate in and of itself. But £100 for, it's a little sketchy, and I'm not happy about it. I think really 90, you know, 80 would be amazing, but 90 is definitely a worthy price for this, because it's certainly a good set, worth a lot of money. The minifigures aren't too special, but I think really the features in it they just pull it off, and I think it's a really, really cool set. From what I've seen from other reviewers, this is really, really cool, and I'm glad I picked it up. It's definitely one of the best sets of the line. But that price point, guys, to be honest with you, if it's not a major priority for you, then I would recommend waiting just right now, even before I reviewed it. I'd recommend waiting, because it's you know, it's going to go down in price eventually. Not many people are going to be paying the full retail price for this, even though it is really good. So with that being said, let's now move on to the next set. Next up, we have the UCS BB-8. Now, while it's officially not called a UCS set, I would certainly say this is much more of a UCS set than, say, like, you know, the Assault on Hoth. I feel like I'm bringing that up a lot, but, you know, you get the point. This is definitely what you would call a UCS set. And we've had, you know, for those of you saying maybe it's too small to be a UCS set, it comes with a plaque, and we've had smaller UCS sets in the past, so I'm definitely going to say this is worthy. If the R2-D2 from 2012 is worthy, this is worthy of being a UCS set. The price is also brilliant for this, by the way. Now, this may be down to the fact that a lot of the pieces are quite small, and it's kind of one of those sets, like a lot of UCS sets tend to be somewhat lower priced in terms of the piece count, and it's maybe somewhat due to that. But £85 for like 1,100 pieces is an amazing thing, and I would recommend picking this up definitely. At full retail value, I think it is definitely worth it. Hell, I'd be willing to pay a bit more for it, like above retail value, to pick this up, because a lot of reviewers are saying it's really, really good. I can see on the box, it's just, it looks really cool. And the features, I mean, okay, it's not a lot of features, but just like the little things, I don't know what it is, something about it. Maybe it's the fact I love BB-8 so much, but just something about it, I really love this set, quite frankly. It's really cool. But yeah, let's now move on to the next one. Next up, we have Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter. I'm not entirely sure what the name of it is in the universe, but I think it's called the Silencer or something. Whatever it's called, this is, to put it simply, a dope starfighter. It's just, that's the best way of putting it. It looks so cool, so menacing. It really feels like something Kylo Ren would use, you know? It's like a mix between Darth Vader's TIE Advance and the TIE Interceptor, which is what the actual designer of this set has actually said, saying it's meant to be like a sort of more advanced, sleeker, more powerful version of the TIE Interceptor, which is, you know, understandable considering, of course, this is meant to take place about 30 years or so after the original trilogy, so it's, you know, logical they use the best fighters from the previous era kind of thing. Nonetheless, this thing is awesome. It's a little on costly side. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pieces are there, but considering like some of the old TIE fighters and other things, maybe a little costly, but considering, I guess, it is bigger, bulky, it's more menacing, it's understandable. I'm just thinking in terms of like previous Darth Vader's TIE Advance or previous TIE fighters, they've been kind of the £50 range. This one is a little on the expensive side of things, like like I think 75 or 8, I think 75 pounds. So yeah, it's a little costly for a TIE fighter, but the pieces are there, and just overall, it's an amazing vehicle. I can't wait to open this. I know I'm saying about every set, but I honestly cannot wait to open all of these. It's going to be so awesome. With that being said, let's now move on to the last few sets. Next up, we have the First Order Heavy Scout Walker. Now, as many people have said before, this is by far one of the most controversial sets of this line, and for good reason. Now, I've watched a fair amount of other reviews, and I've looked at the features on the box, and to be honest with you, I've got to agree with them. This, in many ways, while the price per piece is there, and in that sense, it is worth, you know, the money, for £50, I'm not sure. Just the look of it, just something about it. And of course, I haven't opened it, I haven't felt it yet, but just the look of it right now, I'm not sure it's really worth that. There are some other sets which are better value for £50, some other sets that I'd rather buy for £50. So in all honesty, if it's not a major priority, and I'm going to say it right now, even before I reviewed it, if it's not a major priority, I wouldn't recommend paying retail, because it's definitely going to go down in price. It's going to be one of those sets, it's not going to be a very good seller. Now, I'm going to say it's going to be a bad seller, but it's not going to be as highly sold as like the BB-8 or the Starlet or anything like that. So if you can wait, I would recommend waiting for this go down price, because if it's not a major priority, which it probably shouldn't be, then there are other things worth it. I mean, for God's sake, you can see the wheels on the box, on the freaking box art, which is meant to advertise the set, meant to show, you know, its best angles and all that. You can see the wheels! I mean, I assume it doesn't actually have the wheels in universe, and I understand that really it'd be hard to actually make these legs move in Lego, so I understand why there are wheels, but it's just a bit disappointing, really. In one level, it seems a bit odd to say this, but like, do you remember last year, I think it was last year, or maybe 2 years ago, with the Force Awakens, we got the Snowspeeder, which actually barely showed up at all in the film. I kind of, for some reason, I kind of wish the same thing. Like, I actually want it to be the same thing, where this barely shows up. So, I'm not entirely sure why, and it seems almost pessimistic to say, but, yeah, it's, yeah, it's, you know, yeah. But who knows, it might do something really, really cool in the film. It might, like, save the world or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, that being said, let's now move on to the final two sets. Here are the final two sets I picked up with this haul. Of course, we have two Constraction figures. We have the Chewbacca and the Elite Praetorian Guard. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I tried my best. Nonetheless, these definitely have to be the best Constraction figures of this line, which I guess isn't really saying much, considering the other two were Rey, which, as I've said in the past, and as many people agree, the Constraction figures with the actual faces, well, apart from Chewbacca, they kind of look just weird. They just don't work, really, and they just look a bit odd. And the other one was like the Elite Pilot, which in all honesty, maybe kind of cool if you're into that kind of thing, but to me, a pilot just isn't that exciting. It kind of did remind me, was it based off Battlefront 2, which of course is meant to focus around like a group of pilots or something, but then I realised, oh wait, it's based off the new film, based off the new, you know, sequel trilogy, so it wouldn't be. Nonetheless, here we have the final two. Really cool. I haven't really seen a lot of reviews online of like the Constraction figures, which is a bit odd. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, of course, I understand the main sets are, of course, the main focus, but nonetheless, it's a bit odd that we haven't seen any of like the Constraction reviews. Nonetheless, of course, I'll be trying to do them. I'm not sure when that'll happen, probably somewhat soon, but I'm going on holiday in about a week's time, but I'll talk about that more later. Nonetheless, these are the final two sets, and that concludes my ridiculous haul. Oh, damn. I want to thank everyone for sticking around this really long video, but with that being said, let's go now and conclude it. God damn, that's a lot of Lego. I just want to thank you guys for watching my fourth largest and probably longest Lego Mega haul. I know it cannot be easy seeing through a video of this length, so I just want to say I'm grateful for you doing it. Now, just one last thing I want to say before I conclude this video is you may have seen my last video on the 1st of September, Force Friday, when I picked up most of these sets. There was a UCS Millennium Falcon on display, just like many other Lego stores around the world, and of course I did a bit of a video on it. I want to say, for those of you who are curious, I am hopefully going to get that set when it is released. Now, I am, of course, a VIP member, and I know it is released early, I think on the 14th of September for VIP members. Unfortunately, sounds like such a first world problem, but unfortunately, I'm on holiday. I know it sounds so, oh, unfortunately, first world problem. Anyway, nonetheless, I will hopefully try and pick it up as soon as I get back, probably around the 23rd or 22nd kind of thing. So hopefully I'll pick it up then, I'll try and review it, but just don't expect me to be the first one to review it, but I will try my best, of course. Just one last little thing I also want to say, when I was picking a lot of these sets up at the Lego toy store, they was doing a bit of a competition, of course, to celebrate the whole, you know, being released, the UCS Millennium Falcon. As you can see here, if you can see, I mean, I'll try to get the lighting in better. This was a bit of a competition, launch guide or whatever it's called. You could win a UCS Millennium Falcon. Basically what you have to do is to answer these 5 questions. They're extremely, so you can pause the video if you really want to read through them, but they're extremely easy questions. They really are. By the way, if you're curious, these are stickers. I don't entirely know why they give you stickers to put on the right answer rather than just ticking it, but nonetheless, so of course I got them all right because they're just really easy. I got my little raffle thing here, and did I win? No, of course I didn't win. If I won, I'd certainly be a lot more happy right now. But yeah, so that's just a little thing I thought I'd point out. Something really cool that was happening at the Leicester Square toy store, which if you're unaware, by the way, the Leicester Square Lego toy store in London is the biggest Lego store in the world, which is really, really cool. The fact that it's only like half an hour, you know, on a train from where I am. Nonetheless, that is it then to this Lego Mega Haul, the fourth one and the largest one I've ever done. I really do not think anything will be able to top this. I mean, to be honest with you, the UCS Millennium Falcon is probably going to be the last set I'm going to get this year, because I honestly cannot think of any other sets that I particularly want to get, which I can still buy. I think any other sets I'll get will probably be from Bricklink or anything like that. So this will probably be the largest Lego haul I do for some time. You know, I really cannot think of anything that's going to top this. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching so much. I know it was really long, and I'm really grateful for you watching it. I'm grateful, of course, for you watching all my videos. I know I've been in kind of a bit of a hiatus right now. I hopefully will explain more about that in future videos, but for right now, thank you guys for watching, as I've said several times, and I'll see you in the next video, probably on one of these reviews, but we'll see what happens. I'll see you next time. Bye, troops.